Welcome to Live Interactive English. Hello, everyone. I'm Karen.
Hello, everybody. I am Shane, and we are looking at day 2 of From Plato to Aquaman, The Lasting Appeal of Atlantis.
This very interesting city.
Why don't we say it's very appealing?
Oh, we could say that.
It is very appealing, yeah.
And what does it mean when you say it is very appealing?
Well, like you said, it's very interesting. Just another way to say that. But to appeal to people just means that people will take interest in something, right? So we definitely, it's definitely an interesting city because of all the myths and legends. And we have people going all the way back from Plato, where he wrote about this city that was lost under the sea, you know, after earthquakes and floods, and it just went under the sea. And we have famous filmmakers like James Wan telling a story of Aquaman, a superhero who lives in this advanced civilization.
That's right.
Under the sea.
And all the stories that you hear about this place just sounds very interesting, and it makes you want to learn more about it.
Yeah, you would definitely like to see. It's fun to have stories that are set in, you know, these kind of make-believe or mythical places. It adds a little bit of interest to, especially like in a movie,
Exactly.
It adds a lot of like interest to the storytelling.
Okay, well, how about let's get into it and learn more about Atlantis.
Okay.
Some say Plato made up Atlantis to tell a moral story, but others feel his account was based on genuine historical events and places. According to Plato, the city was located just beyond the Strait of Gibraltar. Despite this, some researchers point to other places around the world. The Black Sea, the Caribbean, and Ireland have all been put forward as possible locations. Some even claim that Atlantis lies beneath Antarctic ice. They say this is the only way the city could have remained hidden for so long.
Okay, so we are looking at day 2 From Plato to Aquaman, The Lasting Appeal of Atlantis.
That's right. I guess we'll be learning more interesting things about it.
Yes, okay.
Let's get started. Some say Plato made up Atlantis to tell a moral story, but others feel his account was based on genuine historical events and places. So that's basically what we were talking about. Some people believe it's true. Some people believe it's a made-up place.
Right.
So some say that Plato made up the story to tell a moral tale, right?
Yeah, you know, just about like what's right and what's wrong, and, you know, basically how to do the right thing. But others do believe that, well, maybe he was really talking about this actual place, right? Because he doesn't make it very evident in his writing. So if we say something is moral, what do we mean?
Okay, like you mentioned, that's an adjective. It just means having to do with what is right and what is wrong in how a person acts. So for example, you could say, my grandpa always teaches me important moral lessons. For example, like respecting, you know, your friends, respecting your family, treating people in a kind way.
Right. It's all about the way you treat people and about what's right and what's wrong.
That's right.
And we have another vocabulary word, genuine, which is an adjective. And to be genuine just means to be real. Exactly what it appears to be. Something that's not artificial or made up. So for example, my happiness is genuine. I'm not pretending.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're truly happy.
I'm happy. I'm so happy to be here teaching all about the lost city of Atlantis.
All right, so let's continue.
Okay, so according to Plato, the city was located just beyond the Strait of Gibraltar. Despite this, some researchers point to other places around the world.
Okay, so basically they cannot really locate where the place is, right?
Well, it is lost.
That's right.
But where do you look? You know, he describes it being near the Strait of Gibraltar, but I'm sure people have looked there and they probably have done some research, didn't find it there, so there's probably other theories about where this might be. So we have a vocabulary word despite, which is a preposition. It just means it's used to show that something happened or is true, although something else might have happened to prevent it. So, for example, Harold is scared of heights. Despite this, he lives on the 30th floor of his building.
Ah, okay. So we also have this vocabulary word here, researcher, and that is a noun. A researcher is someone whose job is to study a subject carefully, especially in order to discover new information or understand the subject better. So for example, you could say, researchers at Harvard University may have found a cure for the disease.
Good for them.
That's right. Okay, let's go back to the article.
Okay.
The Black Sea, the Caribbean, and Ireland have all been put forward as possible locations. So these are the different places that people are suspecting. Hey,
even the Caribbean.
maybe you can find it here.
But I would just find like if Plato was writing about it and they believe, you know, like the story coming from Plato, why would it be all the way over in the Caribbean? Who knows? Okay, all right, continuing. Some even claim that Atlantis lies beneath Antarctic ice. They say this is the only way the city could have remained hidden for so long. Interesting.
Okay, so we still haven't gotten an answer yet.
I don't think we are going to end up with a real answer here, because that would be a major discovery if we discovered it. Well, let's take a break and find out some more.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。我们今天要继续来探讨失落之城亚特兰提斯的真实性。有些人说柏拉图是为了讲道德故事而编造了亚特兰提斯，但有些人认为他的技术是基于真实的历史事件和地点。根据柏拉图的说法，这座城市位于直布罗陀海峡的另一端。尽管如此，有些研究人员指出，可能是世界上的其他地方，像黑海、加勒比海还有爱尔兰都有被提出来作为可能的地点。有人还甚至声称亚特兰提斯位于南极冰层下。好，单字 moral 它表示道德的、道德上的。那么 genuine 它是形容真正的、名副其实的。再看到 despite 这个介系词表示尽管、不管，后面要接名词或动名词。那么 researcher 它表示研究人员、调查员。文中有提到这个 Antarctic ice 表示南极冰层，那么 Antarctic 就是形容南极的。这边一个重点，我们进入文法时间。这边要介绍的是 put forward， 它是表达提出，像提出建议啊、想法或者是计划来供他人考虑，也可以表达推荐某人的意思，是当及物用。例如 Please feel free to put forward any suggestions or ideas. 欢迎随时提出任何建议或想法。那补充一下，如果是 point to， 则是表达提出、指出某事来作为支持的论点。例如 He pointed to some of his achievements as proof of his ability. 他提出一些成就来证明自己的能力。好，接话课文中。
While some of these claims are a little silly, others are more realistic. Plato's writings say that Atlantis suffered several natural disasters over the course of a single day and night. With this in mind, the Mediterranean, specifically the area near the island of Santorini, could be a good place to look. Santorini experiences frequent earthquakes and is also near an active volcanic fault line. One day, as technology advances, perhaps we will discover the truth of Atlantis. Until then, the city will continue to remind us of people's interest in mysteries and inspire storytellers, explorers, and dreamers.
Okay, so before the break, we were talking about where exactly might Atlantis be? You can't say where exactly is it because it could be fake. So when Plato wrote about it, he said it was near the Strait of Gibraltar, right? But other people have different ideas about it. It could have been near Ireland, near the Black Sea. It could have been even buried under the ice in the Antarctic. There's lots of theories for where the actual location
could be.
That's
right.
But we don't know. So let's continue.
All right. Well, some of these claims are a little silly. Others are more realistic. Realistic, and that is an adjective. It just means based on what is real rather than on what is wanted or hoped for, not impractical or visionary. Okay, so for example, Donna is realistic about her chances of winning the race. Maybe she thinks that she's not very good and there are some people who are much better than her, so she's very realistic about it.
Yeah, okay. Oh, poor thing. Okay, continuing. Plato's writings say that Atlantis suffered several natural disasters over the course of a single day and night. Now, yeah, that to me doesn't seem very realistic because, I mean, several natural disasters over just one day and one night.
You rarely hear something like that
Sounds like it's just a story that's being made up. To me, you know? Okay, so we have this word disaster. So what is a disaster? It's an unexpected event, such as a very bad accident, a flood, or a fire that kills a lot of people or causes a lot of damage. So for example, the earthquake was the worst natural disaster in the country's history.
Okay, well, let's go back to the article. With this in mind, the Mediterranean, specifically the area near the island of Santorini, could be a good place to look. Oh, okay, so even Santorini too.
Right, okay, so Santorini experiences frequent earthquakes and is also near an active volcanic fault line. So you have a volcano, and it's a fault line, so that means there could be earthquakes. So when we say volcanic, volcanic means coming from or created by volcanoes. Right? We know volcanoes is just basically a mountain that fire and all kinds of lava shoots out of. So for example, over 200 people have been killed by volcanic eruptions.
One day, as technology advances, perhaps we will discover the truth of Atlantis. Until then, the city will continue to remind us of people's interest in mysteries and inspire storytellers, explorers, and dreamers. That's definitely true, you know. Before we really find out the actual answer, I think a lot of people who are inspired by the stories, they will continue to dream and talk about it. Maybe create more interesting stories.
Yeah, it's exciting to just think that there might really be this place, right?
Exactly.
So we have a what do you think question. Do you think Atlantis was a real place?
Okay, to be honest, I have to say no. Because, you know, there's a saying in English, seeing is believing. So there are no facts yet or no actual evidence that this place has ever really existed, right? We've heard a lot of stories, interesting tales, but we haven't seen any evidence. So I can't say that it's a real place.
I would also
How about
agree.
you?
I doubt it just because, you know, I studied philosophy and I'm familiar with Plato's writings, and I think this is just a moral story that has nothing to do with an actual civilization. He just needed to have a civilization in a story just to tell the story. But I don't think it was an actual place.
Okay, but how about you guys? You guys can let us know.
Okay, so that's all the time we have for today. And thank you for joining us about this very interesting place called Atlantis.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
着提到，尽管其中一些说法有些荒谬，但是有一些则是比较实际的。柏拉图的著作提到亚特兰提斯在1天1夜之间遭遇了数起天灾。那么考虑这一点，地中海，特别是圣托里尼岛附近的地区，可能是值得关注的地方，因为圣托里尼常常发生地震，也位于活跃的火山断层线附近。那么不管怎么样，希望有一天随着科技的进步，我们能够揭开亚特兰提斯的真相。好，文中它用到 fault line， 就表示地球表面的断层线，还有 volcanic， 它是形容火山的，它的名词是 volcano， 表示火山。这时候 Shane 老师他有提到 lava。Lava lava 就表示熔岩，老师还有用到 eruption 这个名词 eruption eruption 表示爆发喷出。那么课文单字 realistic 它是形容现实的、务实的，或是实际可行的，或者是形容注重实际的。Karen 老师这时候有用到形容词 impractical， 在 practical 前面加上 I am， 构成这个否定的语义，表示不切实际的、不可行的。那老师还有提到 visionary 这个字，就是在 vision 后面加上 ary， 那构成形容词，表示有远见的。下一个单字 disaster 就是指灾难或是不幸。这边2个重点，我们进入文法时间。我们来看第一个重点是 over the course of something， 这是表达在什么期间，在什么过程中。course 在这边是表达过程、进程或是进展。over 也可以换作 in 或者是 during。例如 they traveled to 12 countries over the course of a year， 他们在1年期间去了12个国家。第二个重点是 with something in mind， 表示考虑到、考量到某事物。那这个片语呢，是用来指说在做某事时考虑到什么，以什么为目标、理由。那么 in mind 也可以搭配其他动词。当我们说 have something in mind， 就是表达想着、心里盘算着某事物。那么 keep something in mind 则是表达把某事物放在心上，记住某事物。好，那我们来造2个例句。第一个例句是 The building was designed with sustainability in mind， 这栋建筑物的设计考虑到了永续性。那第二个例句是，假设朋友给了一些很好的忠告建议，你也许可以回答 Thanks, I'll definitely keep your words in mind。 谢谢，我一定会把你的话放在心上的。好，那么以上这些讲解，同学们别走开，马上回来哦。
Some say Plato made up Atlantis to tell a moral story, but others feel his account was based on genuine historical events and places. According to Plato, the city was located just beyond the Strait of Gibraltar. Despite this, some researchers point to other places around the world. The Black Sea, the Caribbean, and Ireland have all been put forward as possible locations. Some even claim that Atlantis lies beneath Antarctic ice. They say this is the only way the city could have remained hidden for so long. While some of these claims are a little silly, others are more realistic. Plato's writings say that Atlantis suffered several natural disasters over the course of a single day and night. With this in mind, the Mediterranean, specifically the area near the island of Santorini, could be a good place to look. Santorini experiences frequent earthquakes and is also near an active volcanic fault line. One day, as technology advances, perhaps we will discover the truth of Atlantis. Until then, the city will continue to remind us of people's interest in mysteries and inspire storytellers, explorers, and dreamers.
Hey, it's KiWi on the street. I'm Kiki.
And I'm Winnie. Can you shh? You're talking so lewd right now. I just need you to I have a headache.
So lewd. What are you talking about?
Shh. Quiet, please. You're talking way too lewd.
Quiet. Loud. Loud. Looks like we need to work on some pronunciation.
It's pronunciation time. Can you please read this sentence for me?
Paul is very tall.
Paul is very tall.
Paul is very tall.
Very good. What about this?
Sorry, it's my fault.
Sorry, it's my fault.
Sorry, it's my fault.
Sorry, it's my fault.
And the last one.
This is a haunted house.
This is a haunted house.
This is a haunted house.
Very good. What have we learned today? Welcome to today's pronunciations. Today we are going to be focusing on AU sounds. So the first sentence is Paul is very tall. So here we kind of have a hint as to what Paul sounds like, which is tall. You see the AUL sound will just make the same sound as ALL. So Paul is very tall. The next sentence is actually quite similar. We have, sorry, it's my fault. The only difference is we have a T in the end. So when we're making AU sounds, especially with the AUL at the end, the L makes it a rounder sound. So your mouth is really going to open up. So sorry, it's my fault. You'll notice your jaw is going to move forward and down. So fault. Then we have our last sentence, which is this is a haunted house. So we'll notice that the AU sound in this case is going to make an AW sound, kind of like, aw, a cute cat. Aw. So this is a haunted house. That's all we have for today. Kiwi later.